Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sports Corner with the Conn Man on the Sports Wave. I am your host, the Conn Man, and I had asked if I could just come on the show. But I had some things I wanted to basically get off my chest, and she, of course, being the producer that she is, she said, "Sure." So, to begin tonight's show, what I first and foremost like to do is give a little tribute and praise. Uh, we here in the city of New Bedford, we lost an icon, a legend. Uh, it's been real tough. His name, by the way, is Mr. Peter Brito. Peter Brito is, uh, a great friend of the community, and he's been a component of the community for so long. And what I'd like to do is give you guys just a little bit of Peter and how he was. Okay, we're gonna go way back, way back. Um, we After I had played some ball, in high school and whatever, um, I was asked to play in, matter of fact, the very first New Bedford basketball shootout, which Peter, by the way, came up with the idea. And I was fortunate enough to play in the very first one. And then after that, he'd asked me to be part of his board, I guess, his committee per se. And we ended up doing that for 40 years. Every year for 40 years. I started off as a player, and then I did the refereeing, and then I did the book, the clock, the broadcasting, and so forth and so forth, on and on and on and on and on. And that man believed in me back in the day when I had 8,000 pimples, quiet, shy, and he took me under his wing, and the rest is kind of history. But I'll give you one more thing about Peter and what he's done for so many people in this community. Um, we were a bunch of young individuals, and he had gone on vacation with his wife, Avis. God bless her soul. She's still in Avis. She's still with us, by the way. And they had, gone to a couple of islands. They went to this island called Anguilla. So Peter came back, and he said he went and spoke with the president of the Anguillan Islands, and he wanted to bring a team from New Bedford out to the Anguillan Islands to play against the Anguillans representing USA. And he came back. Of course, none of us believed him, but sure enough, I guess within a few months, he had got in contact with a guy by the name of Nelson Masita, who was at that time mayor for only a short period of time. But they raised money for we had a contingent of about maybe 20 of us went to the island of Anguilla. Now, we from the hood, so we didn't have much money. I know I didn't. And what I know for a fact is he made it so we could all go round trip, plane, hotel. I think we paid for our food. I got to mention. But I know it was for about $200 and took us to that. Matter of fact, it was my very first plane I ever been on. And I'll never forget, it was about, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go on an airplane. But the fellows, they came and they broke down my door because they didn't want me to miss this opportunity. And as I said before, Peter, not only did he do stuff like that, but he also incorporated refereeing. And at the beginning, we never saw any referees that looked like us. But Peter took care of that. We ended up having so many referees, which then built on his son. Matter of fact, Eric ended up becoming a NBA referee, and he in turn, paid it forward and got so many of us involved in refereeing, so we can make some money on the side, so we can, build and learn a craft and learn to be accountable, be responsible, and still be part of the game. And Peter is responsible for that. So he was like, I guess he was like I don't know what you want to call it, the olive tree that we all took from and expanded it and expanded it. And so many people have become entrepreneurs, doing so many great things because of what Peter started. And I'm not scared to admit it. We had, and we still do, matter of fact, have probably the best summer basketball show you guys ever want to see. It's been taken over by a guy by the name of Brian Rudolph, who has expanded it and made it very entertaining to say the least. But we did it for 40 years, and we did it at a high rate. We've had some great people that have come through, NBA pop ball players, etc. And it was just an honor to be in his presence. And I am definitely going to miss him. And I'm sure that a lot of people tuning in today because, I did state that I was going to pay tribute to him. And I just want to say, Peter, there'll never be another you, and those shoes will never be filled. So, best season, my friend. Okay. Well, now that I got that part off, I want to talk about. I was going to talk about my experiences playing against Dr. J and all that, and I will. But certain things have come up in the NBA right now. It's kind of strange. All right, so I'm going to kick it with that first and foremost. We had this incident. I guess it was last night, where the Milwaukee Bucks played against the Indiana Pacers, and Indiana beat Milwaukee about a week ago in the in-tournament series or whatever you want to call it. And so there's some bad blood to begin with. And then if you notice that Giannis and my man, they almost had a beef. I forgot what is his name now, my man. But he almost had a beef. And then there was another technical. There was all kinds of stuff going on during the game, which was kind of crazy to begin with. And then anyway, he had Tyrese Halliburton. That was his name. I knew I got dementia. Yeah, him and Tyrese, was banging, and Tyrese fell to the ground. Then there was a technical foul. There was all kinds of stuff going on. So the game was heated to begin with. All right, so we go in from there. And then the game ends. Giannis gets a team high 64 points, which is the highest points ever scored by a Milwaukee Buck player. And if you watch the highlights of the game, what transpired was, as soon as the game was over, you see a guy in a blue jacket, and he comes, and for some reason, maybe he directed to the official hands the ball over to this guy, who's a member associate of the Indiana Pacers. And allegedly, they said they were going to give it to some guy who scored his first point. And which is not true because that guy ended up scoring the first point in the in-game tournament in Vegas. But I guess they say that's not recorded as a game, so therefore his points probably do not exist. Okay, we'll go that well if you so desire. But to me, when you have someone like Giannis who scored 64 points, which is a record again, to me that takes and it was in Milwaukee. It was in Milwaukee. So to me, I just think that that the show was it's like one of them things back in the day. It's my ball. I'm gonna take it and go home. That's exactly what it was like. And then when you hear Coach's reasoning behind it, he was like putting it down on Milwaukee for going into the locker room. It shouldn't have had to go into the locker room. And then if you hear the tape, which I was just watching recently, people in the locker room say, "You ain't getting this effing ball." That's what they said. So I think it was Turner, they said, from Indiana. I don't know, but that's what was said. I'm not accusing him, but that's what they were saying. Because he put a hurting on them, and they didn't want to give him his ball. Give him the ball, I should say. Then he ended up getting a ball because there's usually two balls, one that they use and one that's there in case, anything happens to the original ball. So I guess he got one, but maybe it wasn't the original one. Again, it's child play. I just don't get it. You got grown men, and you have to resort to that just because of a game. To me, there's way more important things in life than worried about the ball and who got the ball. And the guy's going to get way more points during the rest of his rookie career. And the 1 point, I don't get it. Usually you give out balls and stuff like that for records or someone who accomplished something during that game, like they do in the NFL. And obviously, this guy, I don't know the guy's name. I couldn't even tell the guy's name. So to me, I'm gonna put an end to that one. Milwaukee came out victorious anyway, and they're gonna be meeting twice. In a couple weeks, they're gonna be meeting twice in 1 week. Look forward to that. We better pay attention. And then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, young and old, we're going to have to talk about the one and only Mr. Draymond Green. Mr. Draymond Green. Well, well, well. Mr. Draymond Green. There's been a lot of, I guess, talk about, how many games should he get for his transgression. And to be honest with you, for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure everyone knows by now, Draymond was posted up on the right, almost like right 3-point line. And he wanted the ball. He didn't get the ball at first glance. And the player from behind basically just touched him. And he, out of nowhere, Draymond came up and swiped him like you wouldn't believe, and hit him. Basically, they said it was the face. So if you look for, it was really at the neck, and he went down. And the guy has never caused a problem ever, but Draymond, you could tell he was already had tempers flaring prior to the incident, and the fact that what transpired with the text and all that was going on. So you already had a heat in Draymond already. But I mean, trying to look at it with objectivity, I don't. There is none. I mean, I can't even defend him. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of people defend him, but to me, this is indefensible. I mean, first of all, I mean, there's a lot of post-up play, and Draymond, who's known more for being very physical on the defensive end than as far as pushing. Who does it more than him? And I just think that it came to fruition. I mean, you look at the pool incident, then you look at the other incident with Gortat or whatever his name is. You can look at that incident. I mean, it just seems like, and if this was let to continue, it would go on and on and on again. He claims that he didn't intentionally do it, but there's no other reason. There's nothing you can do. As far as them saying indefinitely, I think that is the right thing. Because how can you really put an exact number in a situation like this when it's been reoccurring? Sometimes you can give a number. Hey, it's like a slap on the wrist. Hey, this is what you did. It's gonna be punitive. You're gonna get punished, and hopefully you learn from it, and we move on. But when it's going on and on and on and on, and it takes away from the game. If you remember, he did an incident right in front of the commission who was in the stands. So I mean, he just don't care. And then he went on and said, "Look, I'm not changing. I'm gonna be me, and that's the way it is." And that might be so, but now it's coming back. The Roosters are coming back right now, and the fact is, you are going to be losing. I think if my mathematical skills are not that good, but I think you're going to be losing upwards of $125,000, $130,000 per game. And then after it goes after 20 games, it goes up even further than that. Despite what you've already had to pay previously, despite the fact that you paid almost $4 million in fines or suspensions or technicals, and the fact is you're number 2 behind Rasheed Wallace. And they're telling me, they're telling the audience, what should be done, what can be done, and how many games. And, after listening to Joe Dumas, who is the vice president of basketball operations for the NBA, a tremendous ball player, played for my Detroit Pistons, by the way, the bad boy. And they're bringing up that as well as the fact that because he played with the bad boys, he's put in a very precarious situation. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, Joe Dumas played for the Detroit Pistons. Even though he came out of McNeese State, I know all that. But he played for the Detroit Pistons for X amount of years. NBA, a pro player for NBA. He made the Hall of Famer. Great player with my boy Isaiah, which is another story. But a great player with Isaiah and the bad boys. And Draymond, as a young kid, he was in the locker room. He was there. So he knows Draymond very well, and Draymond knows him very well. And then now Joe's put in this position, which makes it tough. And then you got Andre Iguodala, who's the president of the Players Association, who played with Draymond just a couple years ago for the Golden State Warriors. So you see that the kind of precarious situation that's evolving around here. But I know for a fact that they all felt that it was in Draymond's best interest that they do what they did. And believe me, this not would have all materialized unless you had all three facets, that being the NBA, that being the Players Association, and that being the ownership. So you had three entities that had to agree on whatever it is that they came with. And in fact, they came up, they said, look, no numbers. We don't know. It's when he gets better. It's when we feel, matter of fact, when the NBA feels safe, because you don't know when he's going to erupt or disrupt or go off again. So it's more safety concerns. And then, like my man, Stephen A. Smith, who everybody hates, but he came up with a good point. At the end of the day, it's a business. And, if you look at the luxury tax that Golden State is paying, it's absorbent. And I'm sure that the owner, Jacobs, who, by the way, is from New Bedford, Mass, by the way. Anyway, I'm sure that he's going to be very upset with the fact that he's not getting money on his return most recently. And then, with the, I guess the other general manager left, Murphy, I think that's his name. He left. Now they got, forgot Michael, whatever his name is. I forgot, my names are not good. But he's taking over that run right now. And this is his first year, man. And now he's got all that responsibility. And I think that's tough on this guy. So it just seems like Golden State more or less has placated him, and now it's coming back to reap the negativity based on Golden State. Now they got a tough game against the Clippers tonight, as we all know, and they're trying to change up their lineups. But you got to understand too, regarding, I hear, well, Klay Thompson's not playing like he used to, and Wiggins. These dudes are getting older. You respect these guys to play at that level, but there's very few LeBrons. You know what I'm saying? There's very few. So you can't even use him as a comparison. Most of these guys, NBA, think about it. How many players that played over 10 years in the NBA? That are, I guess, more that are at most valuable. Let's put that at that time at over 10 years. Usually you're suffering some type of injuries, or or you're constantly getting traded. But very rarely do you find someone who's been with that same team for over 10 years, number one, who's been that valuable, number two, and it's cost effective, number three. Now you got the Golden State, they got the highest payroll, they got the highest luxury tax, and guess what? They really can't do much. They can't do much. It's interesting to see what they can do before the trade deadline, but I don't know who's going. Would you want to take Draymond now? Would you want to take Klay now? And he wants his contract extension. So Golden State, it goes up and it goes down. So I just wanted to talk about Draymond. I wish him the best of luck. He has been you watch his game, for someone who can't jump, can't shoot, can't dribble, but can pass and can direct a team the way he does. Excuse me. He plays a very important part in their success. So, it's a shame. I hope he gets the help that he needs. I hope that it all works out well. Because when Golden State is viable, the NBA is viable, and he creates so much attention that I think it's good. And they need him back. In order for them to make a run, they need him back. So hopefully he comes back. I would say probably, if I had to guess, I would say, I'm gonna say between. I can't really predict because you put a number to it. But I would say within a month. I'll give it time. I'll say maybe like a month. I think he's gonna be gone about a month. I think he'll be gone until maybe the second week of January. I think that'll give him enough time to overcome whatever difficulties he's having, number one. And also, I think that it still gives him a chance to be in that playoff run if they can hold off until he gets back. So I think that's going to be a crucial issue as far as that's concerned. But getting back to the NBA, now we're getting back to the NBA again. I just want to touch on the NBA before I get into my my spiel about all my personal experiences with some phenomenal athletes. In the East right now, we have the Boston Celtics, 17-5. I think they play tonight, matter of fact. I think they play against Cleveland tonight. I've been watching them, and I'm very impressed with them. Porzingis is back. They're playing very well. I'm very impressed with them. I mean, they have a 2-game winning streak, 7-3 in the last 10 games. Their road record's not that good. Excuse me, I guess I got road record's not that good, but their home record is 11-0, so they're playing pretty good. They're 16-4 in the conference and 9-1 in the division. So I think they're off to a good start. I think for the most part in the East, there's been only one surprise, and I'll get to them in a second. The Milwaukee Bucks, 17-7. I think everyone's expecting them to do what they're basically doing right now. I mean, Dame is still getting accustomed to playing with Giannis. He's more up and down. He hasn't been as consistent as he normally is. But I think as the season goes on, I think they're going to be one pair to be tough to stop, especially that pick and roll. That pick and roll is unstoppable, and I think that pick and roll is going to be very effective as the Bucks get on and on. They got to get more effort from the other players on the bench. But I think they're going to be all right. They're going to be there at the end. Now, here's my surprise team. I mentioned something at the beginning of the year, the Orlando Magic. You know something? If you notice, Orlando hasn't made many changes. They got the same team. Excuse me. They have the same team as they did last year. Just that's the maturity factor. I think the fact that they matured, they got a little bit better. You got their first round pick from the last 2 years, both playing well. You got Cole Anthony right now, the leading scorer off the bench offensively. They're playing very well defensively. They're 11-4 in the conference. They're 11-2 at home. On the road, they're 5-5, which is 50%, not too bad. And they're 8-2 during the last 10 games. So you got to watch out. And I like that they're young, they're hungry. You got to watch out for them. I think Orlando's going to be very, very tough. And don't be surprised if they make a move coming up during the transfer portal, whatever you want to call it, trade deadline. I kind of call it the transfer portal, NBA transfer portal. But anyway. And then we got, of course, Philadelphia 76ers. They're 12-5 in the conference. They're 4-2 in the division. They're 9-3 at home. They're 7-4 on the road, which is very good. And they're 6-4 during the last 10 games. And they have a winning streak of 4 games. Philadelphia's playing very well. I like the fact that right now it seems like there's some stability. Because if you look at the last couple of years, do we have to go on? We can go on with all the problems that they've had. The coaching moves, the player moves, Harden. It just seems like they're at peace right now. It seems like they just want to play ball. There's no outside influences. There's no inside influences, and they're just playing ball. And then Maxi's coming out of his garden party. He's playing out. My Harris is playing very well, and of course the big guy. What can you say about the big guy? The big guy's still leading the league in scoring this year, despite not having Harden, despite not having the other knucklehead, despite not having all this new coaches. That it hasn't changed. His game has not changed. Matter of fact, I think his game's getting even better. He's shooting really good from the floor. I mean, he's a beast. And I think, I think they generally like playing with each other. You can tell. I think they're all pulling for each other. I think they have a team to be one to contend with right now. Again, they're only a couple of games back. They're a game and a half back. So, I mean, now we've got to watch out for them. Indiana Pacers. I think they're doing very well. 13-9, 11-8 in the conference, 7-5 home, 6-4 on the road. That's about half and half. I mean, they got one of the best up-and-coming guards in Tyrese Halliburton. They got a deep bench. They're well coached. I think they're going to be tough to deal with as well. Now we're going to go with the Miami Heat. Miami Heat. We're still good. I still got time to do my thing too, so I'm just going to run off here a bit. Miami Heat is doing 14-10, we are kind of what they expected to be. But again, they didn't make too many additions. They got, well, I guess addition by subtraction. I guess they got rid of quite a few players. And, they're still maintaining a 14-10, 11-9 on the conference. That just shows how well coached they are. To me, it comes down to coaching. They're in a system that they gel under that system. I think they're playing very, very well. Got to watch out. You always got to watch out. When a Pat Riley team, you just got to watch out. And Spoelstra, great coaching. I just think they have a great system, great culture, and they don't play. The New York Knicks. Well, they made a change. Well, their center just got hurt. He's out for like 8 to 10 weeks. So they ended up picking up one of their old time guys who's about 800 years old. But they're happy with him, and I don't know how much he knows the system. He plays hard. He's good defensively. He's played for like 200 teams. I think he'll help out, given the fact that he lost their starting center. So he's going to give he's going to help them out a little bit. But they're 11-6 in the conference. They are 6-7 on the road, and obviously the Knicks play better at home, like most teams play better at home as well. And okay, now leads us to the next team, the Brooklyn Nets. Surprising. Did you watch them last night? Brooklyn Nets. Who? I'm telling you, that guy Thomas is a beast, and Bridges is a beast. So I mean, Brooklyn. I like Brooklyn. They're fun to watch. They're hungry. They're well coached. They haven't given up or nothing like that. They're doing pretty good. They're 11-8 in the conference. They're 8-5 home, and they're 5-5 on the road. Not bad. Now Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that Cleveland. I think the expectations were a little bit better for them. You know what I mean? The way they manhandled the Knicks. I thought that they would have a better opportunity this year, but due to injuries, again, I think Mobley's out. Again, injuries is a key factor. That's why the bench is so important. And obviously, it's come back to hurt them really bad. They're 9-6 in the conference, 6-6 at home, 7-5 on the road, which is not bad at all. Toronto Raptors. Here we go. Here we go. Toronto Raptors, 10-14. You heard it here. And it just so happens, check this one out. Toronto Raptors, 10-14. Now, this has just come out. So, you're going to get some news. Toronto Raptors, 10-14. They won one game. They're 3-8 on the road. They're 7-6 at home. It don't look like they're going anywhere. Okay. And now I'm going to give you my take. Following them are the Atlanta Hawks, who have been very disappointing. They're 9-14, and they're 6-12 in the conference, 3-2 in the division, 3-7 at home. Now you remember they haven't even played most of their conference games, so that leads me to believe they're not going to be that good. And so you know what I think? I think for a fact that you heard it here. Toronto Raptors are going to be making a deal. They're going to be sending Pascal Siakam to the Atlanta Hawks. Something tells me he's going to go to the Atlanta Hawks. I'm telling you that right now. And here's another deal, which we'll go back to in a few minutes. So watch out for that deal. Watch out for Toronto getting rid of Siakam, Rock'em Sock'em. Just remember that he's going to be going there, I believe, when it comes time to the trade deadline. Now we can go back to one team. Oh, here we go. I forgot. Oh, Chicago Bulls. They're 9-16. I'm just going to remember. Charlotte 7-15, Washington 3-20, Detroit's 2-22. Detroit lost 21 games in a row. And those teams are terrible. The Washington Wizards, but here is something. Here we go. Here's another one. The Chicago Bulls. There's been reported that Zach LaVine will not be playing another game for the Chicago Bulls. Where do you think he might go? Something tells me there's a team out there in LA. They have a guy by the name of LeBron James on the team. I'm just saying, I got a funny feeling Mr. Levine will be playing for the Lakers. It has to be after January 15th before anything can be done due to contract negotiations or whatever. Watch out. You heard? Watch out. Chicago is going to be sending Zach Levine to the Lakers for probably uh, D. Russell, uh, Hoochie Mama, as I call him, Hoochie Mama, and maybe one other person and a pick. Just watch what I say. Tell you that's going to happen. Now you put Lakers with him. Now you got some great weapons now. So watch out. I think that's what the Lakers really could use. I think they will be able to get that done. I mean, Chicago doesn't look like they're going anywhere. They'll get a couple good players. They'll free that money that they owe to Zach Levine. It makes good business sense. I think that's going to happen. All right, man. Let me see. Yeah, we're still good. We're still good. I got still good time for my stories. Which is the reason why I really wanted to come on. But since we're talking about the NBA, I'll run it real quick, and then I'll give you guys my stories real quick. All right, I'll do that for y'all. Minnesota Timberwolves leading the NBA, or tied for the NBA with a 17-5 record. Mitchell's playing very well. The two towers are playing good together. Once they are held healthy, they're playing very well together. And we all complain about Cat. Cat's coming to play. These dudes are coming to play. So watch out for Minnesota. Oklahoma City. I knew they were going to be good. I could tell you they were going to be good. I still think they're going to be good. They're 7-3 in the last 10 games. They have a winning streak of 2. And on the road, 7-3 on the road. And they're 8-4 at home. Watch out. Watch out. That's a trigger sign. They're going to be playing very well. Got to keep an eye out on them. Dallas Mavericks. Again, they played very well. I watched them last night. That was the night before. I can't. Yeah, against the Lakers, and they played without Kyrie, and Luka is just a beast. Luka is just a beast. And which I also wanted to bring up while I have it here. Just check out the NBA right now. Just before I go any further, you got Giannis averaging 32 points a game. You got Embiid averaging 33.8 points a game. You got Luka averaging 32 points a game. You got KD averaging 30 points a game. You got Steph averaging 29.4. You got Shea Alexander Gildress, SAG, SPG, AD, whatever. He's averaging 30.4. Then you got Jokic averaging 27. So you got a whole bunch of players who are having unbelievable years. And even though like only 20-something games into the season, I think it's going to be for an exciting season. And who knows what's going to end up happening. But these players can tell you how great they are. That's why they get the money that they get. That's why, they demand what they demand. So we're going with the Dallas Mavericks. I thought they're playing good. Denver surprising 16-9, but again, they're just getting better. They're getting healthy. You already know, everybody knows they got the best team around, and they're 9-1 at home, so you got to watch out for them. And then we come down to the Los Angeles Lakers. Not everybody's favorite, but they're playing. I think they just pick and choose right now. They just came off the end tournament, which they really wanted to win, more so for the bench. The guys who are on two-way contracts, they wanted to make sure that they got a little bit of change, got that bag, and I think that they proved that they did that. So that's going to endear the bench to the starters. You see, it works hand in hand. They put extra money in their pocket. Now they're going to give that much effort. Watch out, that's what's going to happen, guaranteed. But the Lakers, they end up losing to Dallas. They almost lost to San Antonio, but I don't know. I think they're going to come out tomorrow night. I think LeBron will be playing. I think they're gonna smash them. They're going to get back and do their thing. Sacramento Kings, dangerous. I'm telling you about De'Aaron Fox is probably one of the top guards. I think him, Ben, and Shea. I think right there, those three right now got to be the top best young guards in the NBA. Whatever. De'Aaron Fox, we don't get too much chance to really watch him play, but this guy's incredible. I'm telling you, phenomenal. Houston Rockets. Surprisingly, Udoka, man, he got some scoliosis, you know what I mean? He stood up to LeBron, we all know. Yeah, obviously he's doing a fantastic job with the Houston Rockets. Shoot, they're playing very, very well, and what the thing about is they're tough at home, if I'm correct. Let me just double check. I think they're very tough at home. Yep, home. Yep, you got to watch out. The Houston Rockets, check this out. They are 11-1 at home. Watch out. Imagine that. They haven't had success in who knows how long. And it's good to see that they're on the win streak of 4 games. They're doing the damn thing. And they're a bunch of young guys. Can you imagine once they get more accustomed to playing with each other and they get more experience? To me, they're going to be like the Orlando Magic of the West. All right, they're going to be the Western version of the Orlando Magic. Just watch out. They're going to go again with their home record. They're going to be playing pretty well. And the only thing is they're not good on the road. They're 1-8 on the road. They got to improve that. But I think they'll be very, very good when it comes time. And right now they're in that 7th slot. Oh, now the LA Clippers. We have a big game tonight against the Warriors. By the way, that's going to be an outstanding game. I think that's going to be a great game. Clippers are playing in their own, and they got some guy. I'm not sure his name. I think his name is Kawhi Leonard. I think that's his name. I don't know because the guy that I know, he plays one game every 9 games. Maybe no games at all. But this guy Kawhi, I think that's his name. He's been playing every game, and he's had 3 games in a row over 30 points. I'm not sure if it's the same guy that I might have to talk to the producers or whomever looks up the numbers. I think that's him. I think it's Kawhi. I think it is. And then they got Paul George. You know, he's doing his thing. And you also got Westbrook coming off the bench, adding that leadership role off the bench and giving you that the energy and enthusiasm. I think that he's going to be a factor as well. So the Clippers right now, they won 5 in a row. They're 9-3 at home. 4-7 on the road. They're going to have to clean up on that end. New Orleans Pelicans. You got to remember, all these teams right now, they're over 500. So, I mean, they're not doing all that bad. So anything can happen. It's a long season to go. The Pelicans, if they come with a full assortment of players and they're healthy, they could be dangerous. I mean, they got all the weapons. I mean, they got McCollum. They got Zion. They got Ingram. I mean, they're very good. They got a deep bench. They're very good. I think they're well coached as well. I think they could be a tough team to deal with. And I guarantee that's going to be a tough out. And then we got the Phoenix Suns. You know, yesterday was the first time that they all played together, the 3 Musketeers. But they still had the other guys that were out. So it's going to take them a while to gel. So don't go by what they are right now. Right now they're 13-11. They are, I think they're 10-8 in the conference. They lost 1 game. They're 5-5. Last 10 games. I'm not worried about them. They'll be there in the end. I think they're going to be there. Golden State, I think they got problems. I don't see them getting out. I think it's going to get worse. I mean, Steph's doing what he can, but I just don't see them getting out of it. I think they've been hit with too much drama, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. Right now, they're going to be under the microscope more than ever. You got an owner that ain't going to play. I don't know what the owner can do. I mean, their payroll is so high. Excuse me, my voice is getting on. The payroll is so high that nobody's gonna want a 85-year-old Klay Thompson or a 69-year-old Draymond Green who wants to fight the bench, the barbershop, the diner, the movie shop, the supermarket. So I mean, you know, that's who's gonna want to take on that. And plus, he's still owed $4 million at 25 per year. You got to remember that $100 million doesn't kick in until next year. You got to remember that. So that's 4 more years. So who's going to take on that? Utah Jazz. I thought they were really, really good, but it seems like they've lost a lot. If it seems like if marketing don't come to play, they have a hard time. They got some good talent. They got Clarkson. You know, they got some good players, but I think that they need to probably reevaluate. Portland Trailblazers, I think, you know, Chauncey's put in a very difficult situation, a precarious situation. It's going to be tough. But I think, you know, as long as you have if they can have the patience and not try to, you know, jump the gun and try to get rid of them, sometimes you got to stay the course. Look at Orlando. They're staying the course. You got to watch out for these teams. Stay the course. Build. Teach our young players. Let them learn, let them grow. Uh, Trying to get rid of them so quick is not always the best answer to the best solution to a question. And of course, the one of the I guess one of the biggest disappointments has to be the Memphis Grizzlies. Um, wow, you know, sometimes a player can make a difference, either good or bad. And it seems like Memphis again, but then they beset by a lot of injuries. And I think Ja comes back next week. I think comes back the 25th, if I'm correct. So I'm sure all eyes are going to be on him and see what he can do. But also, I'm pretty sure that that's putting a big burden on him. I don't think him by himself coming back is going to make as much of a difference as people think. I mean, they're 6-17 right now. They're 11 and a half games back. I don't know, but they're in 14th place. I don't see how much, unless the other teams start falling down. I mean, I definitely think they can get past Utah. They can get past Portland. They can definitely get past Golden State. After that, it becomes hard to get past New Orleans or these other teams. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. So I think they're in a tough bind. As far as San Antonio Spurs are concerned, it's the process. We all know it's a process. They've lost 18 games in a row. But I tell you what, I give them credit. I give Pop credit. He still has that energy. They still love. He still loves the team. The team seems to love him. They're still going out there playing hard. They know what's going on. Right now, they're going to end up getting probably the number one pick again, and they're going to build off that because if you know, San Antonio's always very good at building out of the draft. They're not really good at turning up free agents. They build from the draft in most cases. So I think San Antonio Spurs, they're going to be team good in the near future as well. So again, I wanted to first of all I want to give my props to Mr. Peter Britta, which is my heart and soul. Again, may be filled, but I'm going to do my best to see what we can do about that. And you already know, you know how I am. I always recognize people, so you know something's going to happen. I'm not going to predict, but something's definitely going to happen. And it's just a tough situation, But getting back again to the NBA, before I tell my stories, y'all probably what stories are you going to tell? I got some good ones, but I just think that the NBA. I'm looking forward to the rest of the NBA season. I'm excited about it. It's unfortunate with the Draymond situation, but it's just part of the NBA and part of the things we got to deal with. Let's hope that that's the only thing that we have to worry about for the rest of the season. Stick to the competitive nature. Everyone go out there, bust their behind, have a good time. Hopefully the injuries are at a bare minimum, but they're going to happen. I hope teams can be healthy and go out there and just have fun and put that NBA product that it can be the best that it can be. I think this year is definitely has the potential to be the best that it can be. So, all right, now for the time y'all been waiting for. All right, I'm gonna kick it real. I get about 25 minutes, maybe. I'll kick it real with you guys. It all started. All right, I'm gonna keep it real. I know you guys want to hear the juicy parts, but I'm gonna keep it real with the quick parts. I was a young kid out of New Bedford, Mass. And out here, way New Bedford, 20 miles south of 50 miles south of Boston. And I was a young kid, and back then we had three channels: channel 12, 10, and 6. So you really didn't get to see the NBA ball players. And as a youngster, for some reason, I fell in love with the game. And when I found out there was this NBA ball player coming to this place called Bontwood Park, I said, "Wow." Guy by name, you guys are probably too young to know, but his name was Lou Hudson. Lou Hudson played for quite a few teams, but he played with the Atlanta Hawks. He played with a guy by the name of Pistol Pete Williams. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but anyway, that's that's my very first come to. Actual like within feet of an NBA ball player. That was unbelievable. Anyway, the next year or the year afterwards, Jojo White from the Boston Celtics came. Now here's where it gets kind of tricky. Jojo White came to the same Boundary Park. Now anybody who knows Jojo White, who played for the Boston Celtics, won number 10 out of Kansas, had a great Olympics. He came, and if you notice Jojo White, anybody who ever watched Jojo White, he shoots like this, and he turns his wrist. like that. Maybe he shoots like this and turns his wrist. Anyway, I'm seeing that as a young kid, and I learned that, and I picked that up, and from that day on, my jump shot has the same thing that when I watched him. And anybody will tell you they ever seen me take a jump shot, my ball does not spin the normal way. My ball spins, I don't know, this spins cuckoo. It goes in, but it just spins a little different. But I mean, I got that from Jojo White when he came down. And I'm gonna talk about him a little bit later on. So I'm gonna run down the list. This guy by the name of Paul Silas. Paul Silas. He played for quite a few teams, but he also played for the Boston Celtics. When I lived on 317 Pleasant Street, again, I see Paul Silas come. We lived on two sides, 3 floors and then 3 floors. He comes on the right side to go visit a friend. I will leave it at that. So I come and I see him. I'm like, I don't know, 10, 11, maybe, I don't know. And I see him and I said, wow, he looks so big. He was about 6'7", 6'8". He won a couple of titles with the Celtics, by the way, also. And I ended up coaching the Cleveland Cavaliers, ended up coaching LeBron and the whole. But anyway, matter of fact, his son just recently coached the Houston Rockets. I think his name was James Silas. That was his son. But then when he came and I saw him, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Paul Silas. Whew. Anyway, so now we go from there. Now here we go with I'm gonna give you the good parts. Here we go with the good parts. 1976. I just turned 16 years old. I was going into my sophomore year at Bishop Stang High School, and we hear about this guy coming to New Bedford High School, and I'm like, well, who's coming here? They said a guy by the name of Dr. J. I said, what? Because I used to read Sports Illustrated on the regular. So I used to see all the pictures. Remember, they weren't on TV then at all. So you can never see anything else. So he was like a big movie star back in the day where you can only see him on screen. So I didn't really, I said, he's coming here? Also, I said, well, I gotta go. I gotta go. So me and my boys, we walk in. I can't remember how much it cost. I don't even remember. I get dementia. So we walk in, there's a big crowd. And so we're waiting. And then guess who walks in? Dr. J. And he walks in with a guy by the name of Tommy Rocher. I said the story, but I was wrong. But I'm going to say it again because that's exactly what happened during that night. I assumed that Tommy Rocher, who was at UMass with Dr. J, because Dr. J went to UMass, for those of you who don't know. And then Tommy was there, so I figured that he's the reason why Dr. J came to New Bedford High. That was not the reason. It was Mike Samuel, who is part of the network. His dad and his associates, they made it happen for Dr. J to come to New Bedford High. So anyway, I'm gonna keep it real. We got a couple. So we sitting in the stands and we're watching, and he's doing all kind of fundamentals, and the crowd's like, "No, come on, man, we want to see the dunk. We want to see," and he's like, "Hold up, I make it look easy, but it's not easy." Something like that, anyway. So he's doing his fundamentals, and then this is what's going to interest you guys. He goes, "Let me get the best leaper in the building. Let me get the best leaping." So everyone's looking at that. It wasn't looking at me. It definitely wasn't me. But they're looking at a guy by the name of Gus Hodge. He's about 6'6". So Gus comes down, and Gus comes in. Dr. J shakes his hand, and Gus says hello, whatever. And then he says, "How you doing, Gus?" "Yeah, I'm doing." "Gus, do me a favor. Touch the backboard." Gus, "Okay." He said, "All right, Gus, this one hand. Gus, touch the backboard." 2 hands. "Okay, no problem." He tells Gus, "Gus, touch the rim." 1 hand. Gus, "Oh, no, I got this. Man, come on, what are you talking?" He said, "Gus, touch the rim." 2 hands. Gus does it, and he does it again. Now he's like, "Hey, I got this. Hey, I got this." Doctor goes, "Okay. Gus, touch the backboard, 2 hands without bending your knees." Everybody's like, what? "Gus, touch the rim, 2 hands without bending your knees." Think about it. Try it. Try jumping without bending your knees. Try that. So anyway, doctor proceeds to get two balls, one in the left hand, one in his right hand, and he goes up, dink, dink, without bending his knees. And if you watch the NBA, excuse me, the ABA dunk contest, he does that same one. If you look at it, he does the same thing. He's underneath the basket. He goes up, boom, boom, without bending his knees. So anyway, that was good. So then he goes, well, give me the best ball players in the crowd. Give me about 6, 7. So everybody's banging each other. Everybody's banging. And they're banging me. Mike, you got to go. I'm like, no, I don't want to go out there. Mike, you got to go. Oh, I ain't go. No, I ain't going out there. I ain't going to get embarrassed. Are you crazy? Mike, you I said, oh, man, I'll go. I had a purple, pink, purple, whatever. And I had blue khaki pants. I remember that. Anyway, I had change in my left pocket. All right. So we go down, we meet him. He gets us all at half court and he shakes all our hands. His hands are like humongous. I mean, humongous. So we go in there and he says, okay, guys, do me a favor. Relax, stretch yourself out, stretch up, stretch, get loose. Whew. Now, this is something that I'm not proud to say, but it happened because I'm going to keep it real. As I told you, I had change in my left pocket. So when he tells us to stretch, I'm only 16 years old, man. I'm nervous. My hands, my feet. So he says, stretch. So I'm stretching. All of a sudden, all my change comes out and it falls on the floor. So, I mean, that wasn't the most professional thing to happen. So I'm picking up all my change. Everybody else is stretching. I'm picking up my change on the floor. Then I'm putting it aside. So then he goes, okay. So what he did was he had all of us line up behind the basket. There were 7 of us. I remember most of their names. If I forget, I'm going to be in trouble. But I think it was Gus Hodge. I think it was Carl Stapina. I think it was Tony DePina. I think it was Dave Lato. I think it was Derwin Watkins. And after that, I kind of lose track. And I apologize because I think I got most of them. Tony Colley. Yeah, I think I got most of them. So anyway, the first guy, who I think was Dave Lato, I could be wrong. He goes up, doctor hits 2 jumpers on him. Boom, boom. It scores the game's to 2. And you gotta bring it out. Boom, boom. He's out. The next guy comes on. Boop, boop, he's out. Now it's my turn. All right. Now y'all ready for this one? So I come out. I'm nervous as hell. I come out and my knees are shaking. But I'm on him like, man, I can tell you what size underwear he had on. That's how close I was to him. Anyway, he took a jump shot and he missed. I get the rebound. I go directly to the left corner. I go up and I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. Anyway, he comes out on me. I mean, he ain't playing me that tight, I guess. But anyway, he played me. So I come up. I go between my legs. I do a spin with my left hand. I go up. I can't remember because he was too. I didn't know. I couldn't even see the basket. It was I couldn't even see the basket. So anyway, I'm obviously I missed the shot. He got the rebound. He cleared it, and then he went to the foul line. He took another jump shot, and it hit the back of the rim. The ball comes, and now I'm right underneath the basket, yo. I'm right underneath the basket. The ball comes right in my hands. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he snatches it and does a complete 360, and the place goes bonkers. Now, I told you, the game was to 2. Because the crowd went nuts, they were like, now we got to get him out of here. Because I was so, I mean, what a great experience. But that was my experience playing against Dr. J. So that was that. But that's not so much what I wanted to talk about. It was, okay, he did that. And then what was the best thing, I think, was the fact that he got everybody come down in a semicircle, in a big semicircle. And he put on the most tremendous dunk show you ever want to see. I mean, 1 ball, 2 ball, boom, boom. The only dunk he did not do was the one from the foul line because there were so many people there. And he didn't even do that until afterwards. He did that dunk after he was at New Bedford High. So I don't think he even came up with that dunk at New Bedford High. But the 1 hand, the 2 hand, behind the head, off the back, it was like for a 16-year-old kid to go through that and see that and have the opportunity was to me absolutely amazing. And I tell this story not because or you played against. It's just the opportunity of a young person getting the opportunity to do that. And again, it wasn't so much about me because I'd explained to you, I damn near embarrassed myself. But just to get the opportunity was tremendous. Um, I still got some time left, so we're gonna go further. We're gonna go Nate Archibald, and y'all heard Nate Archibald. Okay, in New Bedford again, like a small town. New Bedford, what they did was they in conjunction with the Boston Celtics, what they would do is they would send down some NBA ball players to help renovate the projects. And we lived in a project at the time called United Front. I told you we didn't have a lot of money, but they came down, and Nate Archibald is one of them that came down to help, I guess, open up the once the park was done, once it was he came out, and again, guess who got the opportunity to play against him? Myself and another guy by the name of Sonny Silver. For those who may not believe me, but it's true. He came down and he was real cool, real good, but he was more my size. So anyway, we played, and I did score against him. I didn't embarrass myself like I did against. No, that did not happen this time. But anyway, there was a picture he took with myself and the guy by the name of Sonny Silver. I wish I had that picture. I don't have it. I asked Sonny, he can't find it. If I ever get that picture, you will see. So check this out. Fast forward. I'm doing broadcasting. I'm doing at UMass Dartmouth. You guys gonna love this story. I'm doing broadcasting. I'm on the mic, and you guys may or may not know I was at that time I was considered the trivia king. But of course, now with computers and stuff like that's right out the door. But at that time, I used to, I could tell you the number. I still can do it, but but people got computer stuff now, so it didn't work. So what I was doing is I would do like at halftime, I would give out trivia questions, and if anybody could get them right, they would get a prize. Of course, the questions I asked, nobody can get the answer. I'm not stupid. So anyway, so what I did was there's one particular time the guy who runs the tournament named Steve Burgo, he said, "Oh yeah, Nate Archibald's coming today." I said, "Who?" He said, "Nate." I said, "Come on. Are you serious?" "Yeah, he's coming. He's coming to team." I'm gonna say Lincoln. I could be wrong. They're out of New York. I think they're out of the Bronx. I could be correct. I know that. So I'm like, yeah, all right. So I'm like, I'm not paying them no mind. So at halftime, this is a true story. Halftime, I'm running down Nate Archibald. He played for the Cincinnati Royals. He played 34.6 points a game. I'm 12 points assists. I'm running down all the stats. I'm running everything down. The only player to lead the league in scoring assists. I'm running it down. I'm just running down all his stats. That wasn't my trivia question. I'm just running down the stats. I turn my head to my right. Guess who walks in with the team from New York? It's Nate Archibald. So I go up. I said, woo. I get up from my table. I go up. I said, "Mr. Archibald, how you doing? My name is Mike Casaccio. I know you don't remember me, but do you remember coming down to the United Front in New Bedford?" He turned to me, just true story. He turned to me. He said, "Damn, that was over 40 years ago." I said, "Wow." So after that, there was an ABA who was coaching that high school team from New York. That's why Nate was there. Okay, so now we go in the stands. Because their team plays next. So I'm still doing my spiel. So I give out my trivia question. I'm going to give you guys it right now. Anybody who's paying attention. I'm sure you guys are going to Google this, but I don't think you can even Google this. But anyway, here was the question. Name the only player to be on a high school NCAA, NCAA, ABA, NBA, and Olympic gold medal. Name only one person could ever achieve. I'm going to give it to you again. High school, NCAA, ABA, NBA, and Olympic gold medal. That was my trivia question. So now I just told you, ABA, the guy that was coaching the New York team, he played in the ABA. Nate Archibald, you would think, would know. They both couldn't get the answer until, let me back up. After a while, the guy who was the coach of the ABA, he sat back and he thought about it, and he ended up getting it. So for those of you who are paying attention, I want you guys to come in with the answer so we can see if, in fact, you guys know anything about what I'm talking about. I'm gonna give it to you one more time: high school, NCAA, ABA, NBA, Olympic gold medal. Check that one out, please. That might be going on the show that we do for our NBA show, but we'll see if you can get that. All right, now we go to that one. All right, now I got run it down because I ain't got much time. I wanted to do, maybe I'll do it another time. Maybe if I have some time tomorrow, whatever. But anyway, because I know I'm running out of time. But I wanted to talk about Isaiah Thomas. Great story about Isaiah Thomas. Also, Marvin Bonds, who played Providence College. That's a great story, personal story. The great David Thompson. That's a good one. That is a good one. That is a good one. And of course, Red Auerbach at Camp Marshfield. I got another good one. So I mean, I'm very fortunate. Again, it's not about me. It's just that I've been blessed to have the opportunity, and I wanted to share these experiences with you guys because what good is it if it's just with me? I better share them, and hopefully you guys can enjoy at my my discrepancy of my experiences. But I wanted to put it out there. Again, I got so much. Like Isaiah Thomas is a good one, and of course, I'm gonna leave you with this one. When I came on these shows and I was talking about, yeah, I'm gonna promote myself as a basketball historian. Yeah, Con, and I would promote, and a lot of these shows that I would try to, come on, they'd be like, "Oh, you're a basketball star? Really? You play against Dr. J? Yeah. All right, we'll get you on." And that's how I started to get on the shows. I wasn't lying, but I just was. That's how I got my way on the shows. I mean, I do know my stuff. Best believe. I go back to 1966. But anyway, that wasn't the point. Once I had the great Sam Jones on my show, which was amazing, by the way, I went and Sam Jones came, and of course, me being me, I got the number. I contacted his family. Matter of fact, it was his son who was handling his affairs at that time, and so now I'm doing my show, and I thought I gave his son the right number, but as I'm doing the live show, I gave him the wrong number. So my producer at that time, it was another network, but my producer at that time said, "Mike, you gave me the wrong number." Now we're doing a live show. I'm waiting for him to come on. I got my boy Ed Atlas from DC on with me, and he go, "Hey Mike, man, you got the wrong number." I'm like, "You got." I said, "Okay, Ed, hey Ed, go handle the show for me so I can go get him the right number." So I ended up getting the right number. I contacted my producer. He contacts Sam, and then I'm talking with my boy Ed Atlas, and they're like, "Yeah, Mike, man, I'm telling you, you're probably only going to get about 10 minutes with him. That's all you're going to get, maybe 10, 15 minutes." I said, "Hey, I'll take 10, 5 seconds." Sam Jones, 10-time NBA champion with the Boston Celtics. Are you kidding me? So I'm talking to me, I'm running my mouth, and all of a sudden Sam Jones comes on. Complete silence. The only thing was he didn't have it wasn't visual. It was through the phone, technology. It was through the phone. That's the only. If there was a negative, it was just through the phone. But hearing him talk about the Boston Celtics and what they experienced as playing with the Boston Celtics, how they could only eat in where only color folks could eat, couldn't drink or couldn't eat with the white people, couldn't stay in the same hotel. You guys have no idea. But I experienced again. So I have once after talking with him, I have. You will never hear me say I am a basketball historian. Anybody could read a damn book. Anybody could look. No, when you speak with someone who's actually lived it, and I didn't live it like that, so I have since gave up my moniker of basketball historian because I'm really not.